Everybody, my name is Joy Griffin. I'm a professor and an entrepreneur. I'm reacting to Shark Tank videos. Let's watch a 13-year-old, and if she can do it, you can do it. Let's watch.
Sharks, I'm 13 years old, and even though I'm still in the 8th grade, I have a PhD in sockology. Created a sock for kids, made by this kid, to make life easier for whatever we're doing. Introducing Wise Pocket Products, an innovative line of socks and leggings with pockets in them.
So let's talk about socks. The sock industry is competitive. It's very congested, but at the same time, something I love about the sock industry is that it's what I call an annuity-based business. And that means that when you buy the product and it works well for you, you're going to buy it again and again and again. And so what's going to be hard for Sophie is, how do you differentiate in such a crowded market? Let's see what she came up with.
Big enough for kids' most important items, like your phone. And I know what you're probably thinking. There's got to be tons of socks like this. Well, I created a patent-pending sock design for kids to safely stick their important items into our sock pockets. So if you're playing soccer, rock climbing, or, spontaneously breaking out into dance with your friends.
All right, so the differentiation here is that the sock market, even though it's really congested and competitive, she's niched down. This is not a problem that I have, but what I love about this is that this is a problem that Sophie has, with her friends there to illustrate the problem as well. And so I would maybe put my phone in a purse or in my back pocket, but kids' clothes don't have that option. And of course, missing a call from your parents or maybe breaking or losing your phone is a pretty big deal. So what I like about this is that she's targeted this product towards kids. So let's see how it works. Wow. What Sophie did here is that she told a story through bringing in her friends to really validate the problem, to be able to show the problem, but also show the solution. So by showing the product, instead of telling them about it, she's actually showing them. And storytelling is a huge part of entrepreneurship, and she did this really well. Let's learn more about how she's going to sell this product, how she's going to bring it to market, because that's going to be the tough.
Even after all that, our design sock pockets will keep your important items in without falling out. And the best part is, for every pair of socks that we sell, we donate a pair of socks to kids in need. Sharks, I know I'm young, but give me 5 years, and I hope I'll be sitting in one of those chairs from here.
Excellent.
Guys.
Good work. Excellent.
So what Sophie's doing here is a social-based mission. She is going to donate a pair of socks for every pair of socks that she sells. We applaud that, of course, but it makes the business model, the revenue side of the business, pretty tough. You're going to have a pretty low cost of product to be able to give away one pair of socks for every pair of socks that you sell. It puts pressure on that revenue model. And that's fine. If Sophie doesn't care about making money, which she may not, she's 13 years old, and she may be doing this more toward a hybrid model, leaning more toward nonprofit, and that's great. But if you see somebody like Bombas doing that, you don't necessarily have to do that yourself. Let's see how she's going to bring this to market.
Tell us about you, how you got into this business.
Well, I got into this business when I was 11, and my cousin put her phone in her boot because, kids in women's clothing don't have pockets. So I tried it too, and it was really uncomfortable because it slipped down to my ankle. I asked around my school to see if other kids had this problem, and they did. I came up with my prototype.
Yes. 2 thumbs up for Sophie, because she saw a problem that her cousin and she both had. But a problem isn't a problem unless you validate that problem. So Sophie went around and asked other kids, do you have that problem, in a non-biased way? So it's not walking up to kids and going, doesn't it suck that you don't have a place to put your phone? It's more about going to those people and saying, where do you put your phone when you're doing your activities? And listening to see if there's a pain point. So Sophie should be talking to, somewhere between 50 and 100 students to be able to validate her problem. This is 2 thumbs up for Sophie.
Where I cut off the top of another sock and stuck it inside the sock.
That's cool.
And I sewed it up the sides, and voila.
How did you get your money for the business?
I save everything that I earn, and
How much money did you actually put in to make your socks?
I invested 10,000 of my own money.
10,000?
Wow.
10,000?
Sophie is using $10,000. Where would she spend that? So in today's environment, you don't need a big expensive marketing company anymore. You can go on AI, come up with your branding really inexpensively. Where did she spend it? Well, she did a prototype. That's pretty simple. You can take a sock and sew it up and have a pretty inexpensive prototype. I'm guessing that she might have spent the money on incorporating. She might have spent the money on a patent because she mentioned that earlier. She probably has a design patent, which is great. And then maybe her first initial production. But Sophie is definitely doing a lean startup, which is what I advocate for.
You sold any of these yet?
Yes,
How much?
a little under $16,000 in sales.
Sophie, let me just tell you, you're a perfect example of what every kidpreneur should do, right? You got a job, you saved up some money, you did all the prototypes yourself, then you made actual products, then you sold those products. Now, the only question is, did you sell those products profitably?
I agree with Mark Cuban here that she did everything right. So it's not enough to be able to just come up with an idea and go into production. She came up with a problem, she validated that problem, she came up with a solution, she validated that solution, she got a patent, and she went to market. So she sold about 1,000 pairs of socks, maybe more, depending on the price point. So this is pretty exciting for Sophie. Let's see if she made any money though, because that's the tough part.
Tell us what it cost you to make a sock and what you're selling them for,
To make the sock, it's $5.47.
because that's expensive.
Yes, it's because of the process to make the double welt for my pocket.
What do you sell them for?
$15 retail and $11 wholesale.
What do you want with the $30,000, Sophia? What are you going to do with it?
So she just let us in that she's selling wholesale and retail. That's a little tough to go down both roads. So if it costs her about $5.40, I think she said, to make the product, and then she's going to give away a pair, and she's also selling this for $11 wholesale, which is how you're going to sell a lot of units. So you can obviously sell larger units when you sell through channels of distribution than you can selling direct to the consumer. So she's going after a hybrid strategy. That's a little tough. Let's see how she managed this and navigates this.
So there's other things out there on the market that hold in socks. They have pockets, right?
I do have competition, although my competitors only have like small pockets for keys and stuff.
Well, Sophie, look, I love what you're doing, and it's wonderful to see this at such a young age, but I don't want a sock company in my portfolio, so I'm out.
So Sophie actually doesn't need an investor here. What she needs is help with her business model a little bit so that she's able to make more margins. The margins are pretty tight, especially if you're selling to wholesale. So, but she would be able to sell direct to consumers or perhaps through channels of distribution and be able to make money. This is a perfect example of a business that really should just be a side hustle because it is easy to duplicate this business. And although she does have a patent, the patent, if it's a design patent, which I'm imagining it is, it's going to be pretty easy to work around. It's still super innovative, and I'm so impressed with this student.
Do you feel that you want to be running a business right now, or is it a little stressful when you're going to school and all of that?
I mean, going into high school is stressful on its own, but with the Wise Pocket product, it's kind of a boost for me. I feel a confidence boost. Like if I can own a business, then I can go through school and turn in that essay.
What Lori's asking about here is her capability as a founder. So one of the areas that we look at and when we're looking at a business is the team. And if the team has the capability to actually execute, because execution is everything. When you have a 13-year-old as great as Sophie, and she's doing terrific, no question about it, but is she going to have the time to focus on this? And does she have the expertise or the background? So for me, the weakest part of this pitch is actually going to be the team. It would be great to see Sophie around other people, maybe like the Sharks. Let's see if they give her a deal.
And Damon and I want to help you.
I started off with Bombers. They were doing 800,000 and they were donating to people, and they donate over 10 million pairs of socks, and they're doing 120 million now. And the donation is way more important to them than the money.
Yeah.
Do the $30,000. We'll be a third partner. Our goal is to try to find somebody to license it.
So coming in as a third partner is a great deal here for Sophie. They have relationships with larger companies that they could license this product to because they have the patent, and they could produce their own version of this product, just licensing it out, and everybody can make money. So this is actually a great deal for this company.
I'd like to make a counteroffer.
Yeah, Sophie.
Okay, let's hear it.
35,000 for 25%.
Wow.
25%. We will take that offer.
Thank you so much. Oh my God.
Good for Sophie. I think the walk away from this video for me is that entrepreneurship starts with frustrations, just observations daily that you're able to notice a friction point or a gap in the market, and then you start small, just like Sophie did. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching.